Well, hello. Today I'm making a scampi inspired chicken. Is it scampi? Probably not. It's certainly not traditional. I am not a chef. I don't pretend to be a chef. I can tell you what I am and I can tell you what I am not. So I'm not a chef. I wasn't classically trained. In fact, I wasn't trained at all. I don't often know why things work together. I just kind of I cook by taste, really. Here's what I am. I'm just a guy who enjoys cooking. I like to make the things that I like to eat and the people around me like to eat. I usually cook kind of heavy with spice, which you don't have to do if you follow any of these recipes. Adjust according to your own taste. These are not actual recipes. In fact, I rarely even write things down. What I typically do is I look around the pantry and see what I've got, and based on that, I start cooking. So today I had chicken breasts, which I were going to pound to make them thinner, but as it turns out, I didn't need to because when I opened them up, they were actually very, very thin from the grocery store. So I got that. What else do I have? I minced a lot of garlic. I say minced, it's actually fairly big chunks. I've cut the chicken up into small pieces, which I'm going to pan fry here in just a moment, and then we'll go from there. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and see what we can make. To show you, cut up an entire clove of garlic. Let's see, an entire onion, white onion. Well, not white onion. I'm going to be using butter. Probably unsalted would be better, but as it turns out, I don't have unsalted, so it's salted butter. These are some of the spices I'm going to use. I'm going to use extra garlic, probably. I've got some parsley, onion powder, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, some basil, and also probably a little cornstarch to thicken. Additionally, I'm probably going to add in, haven't decided yet, some bacon crumbles that I got from Costco, Kirkland. I also have real bacon. I don't know, I assume that's real bacon. But I'm too lazy to actually defrost it and cook it. Finally, I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock. Normally, from what I've seen from other people who make this, they usually use white wine. I don't have wine in the house, and I'm not going out to get any. I'm a very practical cook. In other words, I'm just making things that I like, and I'm using things that I have in the house, and that just needs to be good enough. So I've already done a lot of the prep work, and the reason is like I'm sure you don't really care to watch that, and I mean, if you do, I can always make another video chopping onions and, garlic and whatnot. I'm putting on a glove. Now, the reason why I personally use gloves typically, actually a few reasons. First of all, if you ever cut up jalapenos or onions, if you don't wash your hands really well, and even if you do, sometimes when you take contacts in or take them out, they can burn the hell out of your eyes, which is no fun. Also, just for cleanliness reasons, when you're dealing with chicken, I don't want to mess around with any of the chicken juice if I can avoid it. So, all right, I've got a cast iron skillet that I've got on the burner, and I'm going to turn that to like a medium high heat, and I'm going to grab some olive oil. Also I shop a lot at Costco and also at Albertsons. So for instance, the chicken breast that I got at Albertsons, they often run a deal, which is buy one packet and get two for free. So that's getting three for the price of one. So this meal, chicken-wise, I think is going to cost me roughly about $8. Honestly, $8, not bad. In addition to adding olive oil into the pan, I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Why? I don't know. Honestly, it seems like the right thing to do. I've got the chicken here, as I mentioned. What I did was I cut it up per breast into 3 pieces, and the reason for that is just to make it more bite-sized, probably cook a little bit easier. I like the fact that they're thin, which means they cook through. I never knew this until recently, but if you have thick chicken breasts, you have to cook them all the way through. So when you do that, oftentimes the inside is finely cooked, but the outside gets really a little bit dry. So when you buy chicken that's thinned out, or if you pound it to thin it out, it will oftentimes, well, not often, it'll cook through and through without drying out. So there, I'm melting the butter. I'm fixing to put chicken in there, and I'm going to cook as many as I can in the pan at one time. What I've heard from, I watch cooking shows. I mean, I like cooking shows, and sometimes they'll tell you what to do. They won't explain why you should do it that way. So what I've often heard is you don't crowd the food in the pan. I guess that's probably true. I'm not sure. Nobody's ever explained why it cooks different, but fine, whatever. So I'm going to just start laying out these small chicken pieces in the pan. Now the chicken came pre-seasoned from Albertsons, but additionally I did add some Italian seasoning and some garlic. And just so you know, I mean, not that you care, but I cook with a lot of garlic. I like garlic. There's a very strong likelihood that I will probably use more garlic than you might want to use. But again, for me, I just think season to taste and you'll be fine. Now what I'm doing is, as the chicken's cooked, I'm going to take them out of the skillet. They're probably not cooked all the way through, which is fine, but I'm going to let them rest here on a wire rack. That's inside a cookie sheet, a baking sheet. And the reason why to me it's okay if they're not cooked all the way through is because they will go back in shortly in what will be the scampi-like sauce. So the chicken breasts are now cooked mostly through and through, and if some are still pink on the inside, that's fine because I'm going to cook them in the scampi-ish sauce. Meanwhile, however, I've got a lot of stuff in the cast iron skillet, so I'm going to scrape it. Now, I guess the term is I'm going to deglaze, which is fine. I think that's the real term, but I just want to scrape out all the droppings and all the things that stuck to the bottom. What I'm going to do is, after I scrape it pretty good, is I'm going to pour it into a different skillet where I'm going to make the scampi sauce. All right, I've got another pot here. This is what I'm going to cook the scampi sauce in. Meanwhile, I'm going to take the scrapings and I'm going to pour them into this pot. All right, lots of good flavor there. I'm going to turn the burner back on to like a medium-low. Add more olive oil. How much? I don't know. I just poured it. Less than half a cup, less than a quarter of a cup. To the olive oil, I'm going to add more butter. As this melts, I'm going to add the rest of the chicken stock, probably more than I need. That's all right. Now that the chicken stock, the olive oil, and the butter are good and hot, I'm going to add roughly 1 tablespoon cornstarch. Try to thicken it up. Now, from what I've always heard, you're supposed to add cornstarch, I think, in very small amounts and mix it as you go, because otherwise it'll get bally and clumpy. And as it turns out, I added this all really quick, and it got all bally and clumpy. So now I'm trying to bust up the clumps. All right, now that the chicken stock And the olive oil and the butter are cooking nicely. I'm going to add to it the onions. Full onion. Let those cook down a little bit. Even though I minced garlic, which I did, I'm going to actually add a little extra garlic. Also, Costco, Kirkland. I am of the opinion there's almost no such thing as being too garlicky. Now, I'm sure that's not everyone's opinion. So, you can leave this step out should you end up following this recipe. Does bacon go with scampi? I'm willing to bet it doesn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but I assume it doesn't. However, truthfully, I like bacon. And because I'm too lazy today to cook bacon, I'm going to use bacon crumbles. How much am I putting in? I'm just pouring. Not exact. Season to taste. Whoops. Well, more fell out than I intended. That's all right. This is really, really thickening up nicely. What comes next? I'm here and take a quick look. This is what it looks like. Oops, sorry about that. Steam on the camera. All right. Now I'm going to add in the rest of this garlic that I minced. And there's a lot of it. We'll mix this up a little bit more. Turn down the heat. Next, I'm going to zest some lemon into this. And I really put off getting a zester. I'm not sure why. This is literally like $5, $6. And I use it all the time, and I really like it. It works really well. So you're going to take the lemon and the zester, and you're just going to zest a bunch of it over the pan. By the way, I've heard on like every cooking show, do the zesting before you actually cut into the lemon and get the juice, because once you cut the lemon, it's really hard, if not impossible, to get zest from the lemon. So I've never tried it the other way around, but I think I'm not going to try because I don't want to waste a lemon. Now I'm going to take the lemon and I'm going to get the juice. My guess is one lemon will be plenty. So I'll use the other lemon for something else. All right. That's a good amount of lemon juice. Add some spice. All right. Little onion powder. How much am I adding in? Again, I eyeball stuff. For better or for worse, I eyeball. This is cayenne. Now, if you have kids or others that are not big fans of spice, you either want to cut back on the cayenne or not use it at all. It's not necessary. This is more garlic powder. Little basil. And finally, a fair amount of Italian seasoning. Finally, time to add the chicken back in. All right. think I'm done with my glove. I'm going to take this off here in a minute. Mix this all around. I think I'm going to add a little water to it. Make sure that everything gets coated pretty well. All the chicken, the onions with the garlic and the lemon. Truth be told, I probably could have used a bigger pan, but what are you going to do? It's too late. You're going to make do. That's the thing. Again, I don't always make the right choice, but I figure out a way to make it work. I'm going to taste it. All right, that's good. A little bit of water. I'm going to move it around again a little bit. Make sure that everything's mixed up. Now I'm going to stick a top on there and let it cook for just a little bit. Make sure all the chicken's cooked through and through. All right, final touch. I'm going to add a little parsley. I don't have a lot, but I'm going to add a little anyway. And then, from what I can tell from every cooking video I've ever seen, people are thrilled with watching me taste the food. And to be honest with you, I'm actually looking forward to tasting this because it smells amazing. This is not a recipe, although I will probably write it down because it smells great in here. And I'd like to be able to recreate it. So let's see. Gonna grab myself a fork. Gonna take me a nice little piece. There you go. I don't know if you can see that. Chock full of all kinds of onions and garlic and whatnot. Oh man, sauce is good. Ready for the money shot? Gonna be a little bit spicy for the kids. Maybe not. I don't know. I think so. Here we go. Ooh, hot. Hot. It's smoking. It's really hot. Oh. Hot. Huh. Oh God. Oh, hot. Really good. So there it is. It's a scampi. I don't know if it's scampi. It's scampi inspired. It's chicken. It's delicious. If you try it, if you make it, I would love to hear what you think. My name's Flip. Last name's Orley. I'm a comic, a hypnotist. I also am part of a duo of road comics adventures where me and 30-year stand-up comic, 30-year veteran stand-up comic Renee Bray and I travel the country, do shows, make videos, podcast. You can find me at fliporley.com. You can find Flip Orley on all the, like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but also Road Comics Adventures. All of them. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X. Look us up. Follow, subscribe, tell your friends. Be a friend. Be part of our community. There's a good chicken. It's lunchtime. If you try this recipe, I'd love to hear about it. If you change the recipe, I'd love to know what you did different because I'm always looking for new ways to cook. If you have any questions, I mean, again, I'm not a trained chef, but I'm happy to answer any questions or just, to have a conversation. So thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoy it. And I'll be posting more cooking videos sometime soon.